Okay.
Hi, I'm Bobby Albano, and this is our training today. I have with me Monica George, and we're going to be talking about listing homes uh, on an auction type platform. With that, I will turn it over to Monica.
Hi, guys. One of the really cool and exciting things about selling a house this way is using an online platform to get your offers from potential buyers for a home. It does a few things. One, it creates a lot of bidding and competition between the buyers and drives the prices higher than they maybe normally would be, just from individual offers that are sent and counters back. So you can potentially get your clients more money for their home. It's more interesting for the buyers because they feel like it's more transparent. They can see what other people are bidding and they can choose to beat that or decide, okay, that's enough. I've had enough. And that makes them feel like they're not guessing at what offer they should make. They're not being told there's offers when they don't really know if there's offers. They can actually see what's going on. And for the sellers, you can essentially offer them a listing with lower cost, because one of the really great aspects of using an online platform like this is you can ask the buyers to pay what's called a platform premium. So let's say they make a bid for $300,000 on a house, and they're the top bidder. They would then write up an offer for 300 plus the platform premium, which would be 1 to 2%. You could set it at whatever you want. So their offer would be for, let's say, $303,000 if it was a 1% platform premium. That platform premium would be released to you as the listing agent, and you would use that to pay some of the commission that's due to their agent, the buyer side agent. And that reduces that cost for the seller. The buyers are essentially paying their own agent, either partially or in full. And that discount you can give right back to the seller if you want to. If you want to take a full commission from them, you can do that too. But what's that?
Quick question. Does that include closing costs with that 1 or 2%, or is that additional?
That's totally separate from closing costs.
Okay.
It's just for the ability to bid online and using that platform. This is the big selling point for sellers, obviously, because they get to give you a lower commission overall. It helps them decide you're the better agent to use. You can also explain why they're going to get such a higher sales price as a result of this online bidding competition. So you get to give them less costs and a higher sales price. Win-win for them.
Do you want to show them? We can share the screen and we can kind of show the last one that we did.
Yeah, that's
okay,
a great idea.
All right, so I'll go ahead and share the screen and we'll show you an example of an actual online bidding event that we just did. So share. Here we go. No. It is.
No, the first one.
Was it the first one?
Okay. That's okay. Go there. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'll let you have control
Okay.
there.
So this is the actual site where people would go to register to bid on an upcoming online bidding event. And we don't call it an auction. It's not an auction. An auction means the winner is the winner and they get whatever they bid, period. Because this is not an auction, all they're doing is making a bid. They're raising their hand saying, here's how much we would like to offer on your home. And let's take, for example, one that ended already. So we had this home on Elmwood in San Bernardino, great little house. People can come here, they can see pictures of the home. They can see a description. They can register for the event using this button here. It's very quick. They just fill in their name, email, and phone number. So there's not really much information they have to provide. And then as the online bidding starts, they'll be able to view the offers. And in this particular case, the very top offer ended at $375. That was the highest, or actually $375,500 was the top offer. However, what we did was we told the top offer and the next one down, hey, you guys are the top ones that bid on this home, and we would like your written offer on an RPA within 24 hours for this offer, showing all of your terms, your pre-approvals, proof of funds, all of that. And so they did that. They sent over those offers, and then the seller was able to review them just like he would review offers in any other traditional sale. And then the seller decided to just go with one. She didn't really want to do counters, but she could have. This is really just a way to kind of weed out the buyers that are only able to make low offers versus the ones at high, and we don't have to present 30 offers to the seller. As you can see, when the bidding started, it started at 300. Really, 299 was our starting price. It very quickly jumped to 322, 340, 330. It went up very, very fast to 350. It kind of hung there for a minute, and then it started going up to the 375 mark, 370, 375. So as you could see, a lot went on here. And I think in total, it was roughly around 8 or 10 people were actually making offers. A lot of these bids were the same person, just going higher, going higher. But there were 35 people who registered for this event to bid on the home. Some of them just got bumped out right away because, you know, they were pre-approved for 320 and that came and went in a heartbeat. But that was really helpful for us to not have to, you know, review every single one of those offers at 320.
Yeah, because the buyers are not even writing their offer until this event is finished and we ask them to submit an offer. They sign a disclosure up front that explains how everything is working. I think we have to do stop share.
Okay.
There we go. We explain everything up front in a disclosure document. They sign that they agree and they understand. And that tells them, you know, exactly what's going on. So it's really getting people to raise their hand and say, I would be willing to offer X amount of dollars, and get to that person quickly so that when we ask for offers, we're only having to present a couple of the best offers to the seller.
Yeah.
Now, we did have a little hiccup on this one. The highest offer, we asked for the two highest. Now, I think probably as a standard rule, we should probably ask for the top three. Just so that you have some wiggle room. The top offer actually was, you know, they submitted the offer. It was for the highest price, but they submitted an FHA VA amendatory clause that only went up to 368. Their offer was 375.5, but the FHA would only back something as high as 368. So because of that, their true offer wasn't 375.5, and we had to go with the next one down. The next one down was a great offer. They removed the appraisal contingency. It was a conventional loan. They have plenty of cash in the bank, so it really was the better offer. But because they signed the disclosure up front that explains to them, just because you're the highest doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win this house. per
Yeah.
se. And that's what, as Monica was explaining, that's what makes it different from an auction where the highest bidder wins, period. There's
Yeah.
no, there's
Mm.
no other,
Let me go ahead and share one more thing here. We'll share the screen one more time.
I think
Is
it's under
this
Chrome.
Chrome? Gotcha. Okay. I'm gonna share it one more time so you can see this. When I'm gonna go back to our page here. This is one that we have coming up. It's going to start on Thursday, this next week. And when people want to register for an event like this so that they can bid on the property, they would come here, they would see details about the property. And we have listed here underneath the description terms. Now, the terms are the same information that I list online as well. It basically says there's what's not an addendum, attachment to the MLS.
Yeah. I'm gonna,
What are they? What do you call those?
forget.
In the MLS, there's additional documents that sometimes are attached to the
Mhm.
listing. There's a document there that says how to bid, and a lot of this information is in that document. I copy it here so that anybody who's looking at this, including the buyers, they get to see this information. They get to see, hey, here's the way this works. We're making a note of telling them that they can buy with cash or with financing, but if they're using financing, they have to show us a pre-qualification letter or a pre-approval letter. If they're using cash, they got to show us proof of funds. And so after they register, they can bid right away. They're automatically approved. However, they really need to send us this information. They need to send us their pre-approval and their proof of funds so that we can know they're not just some guy who's hitting a button. You know what I mean? After the bidding is complete, because there's about a 5-day period that it starts and then it ends at some point. When it's complete, we will contact the top bidders and we will ask them for an RPA that's prepared by a licensed real estate agent. That's crucial. They can't do this without an agent. We don't want to deal with a buyer that's not using an agent. We want to represent them. So if they don't have an agent, you, the listing agent, will be able to represent them as well and, collect both your commissions. And they need to send that in within 24 hours. Once that we have those offers, again, we make a point of saying the seller reserves the right to accept, reject, or negotiate any or all bids at any time. Seller might just decide, I like this guy. I want to give it to him. I like him. I know him. Something. For any reason, he's allowed to accept an offer. So we want to make that clear up front. And then in here, it also spells out the fees. The platform premium. In this case, it's 1%. And we remind them when we ask them to send over their RPA that they must add that to their top bid. It's important that they add that in. And if they don't, I will call them back and ask them to redo the RPA before I show it to the seller.
And this is so that they can actually roll this 1% into their loan. So their offer is going to be, let's say the top offer was $575, which is what we're hoping it'll be, $575. With the 1%, they'll add $5,750 to the $575 for a total offer of whatever that is.
That would be the contract price. That would be
Right.
the sales price that everything is based on.
Mhm.
And yes, if this is the best way for it not to hurt the buyer, because they could just wrap it right up into their loan. They don't have to have an extra 1% of cash laying around. So the other documents that we give them, and this is also on the MLS for agents to see, and this is here so that buyers can see it as well, is this sheet. It says how to bid on this home. It explains how they need to come to this page and register.
Is this being shared? We just changed pages. Are you seeing how to bid on this home?
No.
Okay, yeah, so let's go back. Oh, Tiffany's back. Okay, so I'm going to share
Can you just
the
Share.
how to bid info.
Gotcha.
Okay, there you go.
There we go.
This is an attachment to your MLS listing.
Right. And it will be here on the online site where they register to bid on the property as well. And it explains how they need to register, and they need to also send us the proof of funds and pre-approval letter, and complete what's called an agent buyer registration form. I'll show you that one in a second. This information sheet also reminds them of when the bidding starts and ends. It reminds them that there is a platform premium, which I need to update that and have that say platform premium.
Oh, yes, yes.
Buyer premium, platform premium. I just like we like the term platform premium
It
better.
sounds better.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
we'll make sure that that's updated properly.
Easier to digest.
And it reminds them that they don't need to submit a contract unless they're notified after the bidding ends.
Mhm.
And that if they are notified, they need to send it within 24 hours. And it has, contact information for the listing agent down here at the bottom.
And so like when you, like for your listings, you would create this, and maybe we can make one that's, like a form where they could put in their own personal information, because you would have yourself as the listing agent and you would have your information for buyers that are not represented, because you might have buyers that are going to want to bid on the auction, and ideally any buyers would be watching the auction with their agent, or their agent's watching it and letting them know where the price is at and how much that their agent's authorized to go up to. So
And this is the other item that you would want to collect from them. It's a agent buyer registration form. They would fill it out with their agent's contact information so that we can follow up after. And also the client's name. So when we're talking to an agent, we know which RPA to kind of attach that to. Also, it allows the client, the buyer, to check here that they understand about the platform premium, because then they can't say later, oh, I didn't know about that,
Yeah.
which we got that as well earlier with the first one.
Mhm.
And it reiterates the fact that the buyer's agent commission is published in the MLS, and it'll be calculated based on the final purchase price. Final purchase price being the bid plus the platform premium. And this just reminds the agents too that, hey, you're going to get paid. You're getting your regular commission, whatever's listed in the MLS. This doesn't mean you're getting less or anything like that.
Right.
So all these things just make it a little to inform everybody up front. Are we still sharing?
No, we're not
Okay.
sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think the other major factor that we would want to discuss here is when you're preparing a property to be listed using an online platform like this, when you're talking to the seller about it and you're getting all of the agreements signed, you really want to make sure that it's priced right. This is crucial, probably one of the biggest factors of how well this can work or whether it won't work.
Right.
Let's say you have a home that is in the price range of $550, like the one that we have coming up. This is $550, maybe $560 is about the market for this home that we have coming up on Fairmont. We're listing it at a starting price of $499. That is approximately 10% below market.
Right.
You don't really need to go further than that, but it's important to go there. Because if you don't go there, you won't get as many people looking at the property. You want that price to be just, oh my God, how are they selling this for $499? What? Want everybody looking at the listing on the MLS and anywhere to think, what, why? Okay, I have to go to this house. I have to see it.
Yeah.
because they'll see the photos, they'll see the description, they'll see there's nothing wrong with the house, and they'll wonder, why in the world is it so cheap? I need to make sure I get in on this. I might get a great deal.
Mhm.
One of the reasons it's so inexpensive or it starts out at that price is because one, we're trying to allow for the fact that the buyer is paying that premium. They are paying some money that they wouldn't normally pay. So you almost want it to be discounted a little bit to cover that, but also for the eyes, for how many people are going to be looking at this property versus those that are just comparing it to every other home in that same price range. If it was at 550, you get this many people looking at it. If it's at 499, you get this many people looking at it.
Mhm.
More people looking means more people come to the open house or go to see the home in person. More people see it in person, more of them make offers.
It's a numbers game.
Total numbers game. And you want as many people bidding against each other during the online bidding event as possible. That's what drives the price up. It also allows you to say, hey, look, I listed a home for $499 and I sold it for $570.
Mhm.
It allows you to have that huge markup in your numbers.
Mhm.
I was able to sell a home for this much over asking.
Right.
Even though it may have been only a little bit over market that it sold for, the starting and the end price look impressive. And you can share that with other agents. With other sellers when you're promoting this and when you're telling them, here's how well it works.
Do you have a question, Shelley?
Yes, the 499, is that the reserve?
That's what you would consider the reserve.
The reserve?
Yeah, and you would, in this platform, because it's not a true auction,
Auction.
you wouldn't really have a reserve because a reserve
Okay.
is saying, if it doesn't reach this point, I'm not gonna sell it at all, or I won't sell it, at
Period.
all.
Yeah.
And really, we will sell the house.
Right.
On the reserve, there's really no way for anyone to see it. So I don't know. It's just, I guess, to make the seller feel more comfortable, you could set a reserve. When that reserve has been met, it will notify every other bidder that it's been met.
But that's all they know, that
Yeah.
a number has been met. They don't know
How much?
exactly what
Right.
that is. They just know that at this point it's gone above and technically what it's supposed to be there for is it's supposed to be a number that represents the number the seller needs to get up over in order to satisfy all debts and liens and things like that on the house. In other
Right.
words, if they sell it for at least that much, they'll be able to sell it. However, unless you are talking about a distressed property that has a lot of liens and things like that,
Mm.
then usually this wouldn't come into play. If it makes
Yeah.
the seller feel more comfortable, fine, put one in.
Yeah,
But-
I would say that would be the purpose of it at all, because you are listing the house for less than they're comfortable with or than less than they want to accept an offer for. So if it makes them feel more comfortable to set a reserve, then by all means do so. I think the biggest problem that we have run across is convincing the seller that you're not selling the house for, a
The starting
price,
price.
the starting price or a price lower than what they're comfortable accepting. What you're doing is making the property more attractive to get more people looking at it, to get more offers. It's a strategy, and it's not a strategy for every single property, for sure. This would be a great tool to use with, as in partnership with your seller. You let the seller know, look, I'm going to save you some money, but we need to work together on this. You need to allow me to set the price that we're going to list for, because that's the price that's going in the MLS. It's going to be at least 10% below market. You want them to register so that they can kind of watch what's going on and, understand that in order to save them some money, they're going to have a little bit of, responsibility and skin in the game.
Yeah.
So that's the ideal way that you would want to use this tool. Um, if there is any concern that they're not willing to list it low enough, then I would definitely. We're working on a disclosure that says, or a listing agreement addendum that says we're going to list the property using this auction or this online bidding.
Mhm.
And it's a bad habit. We're going to list the property using online bidding system. If it works properly and we find a buyer, then your commission is this much. However, if it fails to bring in the offer that the seller is willing to accept, then the commission will be this much. So ideally, you didn't take a listing for 2% and then end up having to sell it the standard method and then essentially work for free. So we don't want that. So we're working on an addendum to go with your listing agreement that, you can use it in your marketing. Say we can list your house for 2 or 3%, 2.5%, whatever. And that's
So it's like a safety net.
It is a safety net for sure. So,
Because you almost want to be able to revert back to your original
Yeah.
listing agreement if
Mhm.
you do
Doesn't
an
work.
online event and for some reason it didn't go as planned, maybe nobody registered, or the seller isn't happy with the numbers that came back. And if you want to continue marketing it the traditional way and get offers one by one from buyers, well, now you're not getting that platform premium anymore to pay their agent. So now, if you only start with 2.5 or 3%, you're going to be giving up most of your commission to the other side. It's already in the MLS and you promised it.
Yeah.
So you could change the terms of how much commission you're offering on the MLS at any point to the other side, the cooperating agent. However, if you ever put anything under less than 2, nobody's going to look at your property. Good luck.
Agents have tried putting, $1,000 or 1%. I've seen a 1%
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, the only option would be, as a person representing a buyer or an agent representing a buyer, is to ask your buyer to come in. And I've tried doing that. It's difficult because buyers are so used to thinking, this is free to me. It's free. And that's when we need to educate our buyers. When they say, isn't it free? No, it's not free.
It
The
never has been, really.
The seller has been paying for you
Yeah.
the whole time.
Yeah.
Sellers are now putting their foot down, saying they don't want to pay your broker's fee.
Yeah.
So now it's time to pony up. But this online bidding system, it might actually be a great solution and a way for you to advertise your services for a lower amount than anyone else can. So, any more questions?
I have a couple, of course.
Okay.
Good.
First of all, so as you talked a little bit more, just so I'm understanding, at first I was wondering if everything was going to be done virtually, but they can go and view the home just like a normal listing and have showings, etc.
Yeah.
Okay. And then
want to make sure that you allow time for potential bidders to see the house at least a couple of days on an open house, or have the sellers go away for a few hours and have a block of time that you put on the MLS. This is when you can see the house. And that's it. You just want to make it available for people to see it because you don't want people making blind offers.
right, for sure.
And if you want to add specific terms like no blind offers, must be with no inspections, or no repairs will be done, or no termite report, or you can add whatever terms you want
Right.
in the online portal in the listing there. However, it just limits your buyer pool. And honestly, the more the merrier. You can weed through them at the end when you have their offers at the high prices.
So which brings me to my other question, with the registrations. So I'm understanding it correctly. It's registering with you, not the platform, not anyone else. It's all through you. And so you're designating what you want from them in order to register to bid on the property.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And with our first event, we had tried the way that the platform suggested, which was to collect their information, pre-approval, proof of funds, all that stuff, by a registration form, before we allowed them to bid. Problem, half of them didn't send that stuff in on time. And then the bidding started, and we wanted them to participate.
Right.
So this is why it's shifted a little bit to where all they have to do is register. It takes 2 seconds. Anybody can do it. And they can start bidding at any point. But if they don't send those things over through an email before the bidding ends, we won't really consider them as serious bidders. And it will also allow us time to follow up with anybody who didn't send their info and say, hey, make sure you send this in before the bidding ends. It's really important.
Right.
Otherwise, we can't really take it seriously. Because there are going to be people who, want to make an offer on a home and they're pre-approved for 300 and they want to buy a $700,000 home. Well, that's
Right.
fine for you today, but it can't happen. So,
Which that also brings me to my last question is, what if the home doesn't appraise out? I mean, with these offers, and obviously a lot of them are going to have pre-approval for financing up to a certain dollar amount, but what if the home doesn't appraise out to that?
It's the same thing as if you accepted an
Cash.
offer that, it's happening a lot.
I
Yeah.
know.
Especially in this market where you're getting these exorbitant offers.
well,
You handle it the same way you
You
would
do.
any other.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's little tweaks you could do to help. So here's what we
Oh.
suggest.
This is a good tweak.
And you can do this whether you have a listing that is using an online platform bidding or not. You allow the bidding to go through. You get their contracts. You review them. You decide which one the seller is accepting. You notify them and all of that. Then the minute that online bidding ends, you put the property into hold status. You don't want the clock of days on market to keep going.
Oh, right.
Days on market clock is important. You want that to stay as low as possible to make you look awesome, right? So put it on hold the minute the online bidding has completed. While you're reviewing offers with the seller, you can take your time doing that, however long that's going to take. Once the seller has accepted something, go ahead and put the property back into active for just a minute and update the price to whatever was accepted, whatever that high bid was. So if the home started at 300, the high bid was 375, you update the price to 375. Then when the offer is signed and sent back to the buyer, you can put it into active under contract at that new higher price.
Right.
And of course, we would always suggest keep it in active under contract until buyer's deposit has come in, sometimes maybe even after they've removed contingencies. Don't put it in pending unless you know it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because active under contract still shows up on Zillow, still shows up on a lot of other places, and pending sometimes doesn't.
Right.
So, especially when people are searching, you just want visibility, but it doesn't keep the clock going. It stops the clock. So, at some point, they're going to want to do an appraisal. When the appraiser goes to look at the property, he sees it's listed at 375.
Yeah. So that just
not
helps.
The starting price.
Yeah.
The end price.
That helps him because the fact that there is a willing and able buyer at that price is
Right.
verification of the value being at that price.
See, but if you talk
So it
to an
carries some
appraiser,
weight.
if you talk to any appraiser and you tell him that, he'll laugh at you
I know.
because he's not supposed to. He's not supposed to care what the buyers are
Mm-mm.
willing to offer. That is
Really.
not part of his
I
appraisal.
did not know that.
They're not even supposed to look at active properties.
Really.
They're not even technically supposed to look at pending because it hasn't happened yet.
Right.
They're only supposed to look at sold.
Wow.
But in this market, they do.
Right.
And at the very end of the day, even though you're not saying to him, look at this number, he sees it. It's subliminal. It's there.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah.
also impacts the prices of other homes around. You'll see the minute you do this, the Zillow values jump
We'll go
forever,
up.
like that day,
Yeah.
you know? And the good part is, so hopefully that helps to get your appraisal higher, allows for more easier negotiations. And then also, if for some reason it doesn't work out with that buyer, now when it goes back into active, you're starting at 375. And if you want to bump that price back down, oh my God, what a deal
Yeah.
on that house again.
Yeah. So there's
So,
really no
yeah.
no downside to this method, and it's worth a try for
Yeah.
sure.
So that could
Oh,
that
for
could
sure.
hopefully help a little bit. Yeah.
All right.
For
Well,
sure.
I'm gonna go ahead and end it there. We're at 11:30. Thank you so much for attending, Shelley. I hope you got something out of this. We're the
Yeah,
next
I've been waiting.
will be not this coming Saturday, but the next Saturday. So these Saturday trainings will be every other Saturday.
Every other. Okay.
And since you are all, everybody else is getting this recording and listening in after the fact, to go to the page where the online bidding events occur, just to see what buyers are going to be looking at, and how they register and what happened with previous bidding events. You go to sparkoffer.com/CalCurbs. It's real easy to find it online. And if you guys have any questions, just call me or Bobby. We'll go through the details anytime. Okay.
Okay.
Great. Thank you. Have a
Thank you.
wonderful week.
Thank you. Have a good
Thanks. You
weekend.